Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the lousiest, the drowsiest, the crummiest, and the slummiest, the weakest podcast on planet Earth. If you're ready for the worst of the takes and the stomach that aches, allow me to introduce the Worst Baseball Podcast.
The thing is, everybody's going to see me in profile. And I'm bad in profile because I got a big nose.
You're bad in every format.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm. Anytime. All right, let's talk about baseball.
Yes, you have the itinerary pulled up.
I do.
Okay,
I come prepared.
Our first item is intros and welcome back. You're not part of the welcome back. I'm part of the welcome back because you didn't even know this existed until like
I'm welcome.
a few months ago.
You're not welcome back.
You're welcome.
Welcome back.
You're welcomed initially.
Yeah.
I can't really.
Shut up.
No, it's still blinking, so we're good. The viewfinder shut off. I think just
Can we
move a
pan?
little over to the left.
We have some
Over
visitors,
right.
but we won't pan to them. They left.
Yeah, no, we're good. Okay, so welcome to the Worst Baseball Podcast. We're recording for the first time in over a year. Very different setting. I don't think we've ever recorded a video podcast before, so here we are.
We are
bigger and better things than we've been to in the past.
We are recording where Matthew and I work.
But they don't even know that.
Well,
They probably shouldn't know that.
I won't say the company, but we work at the same job, and
Okay.
we're recording at the company.
Yes, after hours. This is not on company time. We're not getting paid for this,
Mhm.
so don't worry. Zero compensation.
We have some visitors
We
off
have
screen.
visitors. Hello.
Off screen making fun of us.
Do not disturb meeting in progress. There we go. Thank you. We have fans.
Actually, I would not call them fans. I would call them haters.
I would call them something closer to haters than fans for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, so my name is
Hater.
Matt. In case you're completely new here, which is probably most of you, because last time we recorded a podcast, I had about 2,000 followers. So we're quite a bit bigger than we were then, which is nice, very nice. I'm Matthew. I post most of the content on the Instagram page, and by most I mean all. Literally everything is me. That's me, 4 or 5 days a week posting content for you. I think it's entertaining and engaging, so I hope you enjoy it.
I'm Noah. I do not run any part of this Instagram page. I just work with Matthew. I like baseball. I like talking, so it seemed like it would work out.
What more do you need?
A lot more to live a
I agree.
fulfilling life, but this will do for now.
For now, it's all we need.
For the time being.
For the time being, I think
Gets
we're
us through
doing
our
okay.
job, I would
It
say.
does
The
for
baseball
sure.
season.
My favorite part is when we start talking about baseball and like dropping like names of random players and stats and stuff, and then people around us like, what are you saying?
Our coworkers think we're speaking gibberish, and
They do seem to think this.
to be fair, we kind of are. I mean, today I think we talked about Dillon 3 times, so
Easily 3 times.
so that's a bit of gibberish. I don't blame them.
I would honestly assume that the majority of the people watching this right now don't even know who Dillon G is.
I would disagree. We are going to disagree a lot, and this is the first time I'm going to come out and not say I disagree with you. If someone is listening to this podcast, they know who Dillon G is. They know who Dillon G is.
I don't know. He's
Unless
very
they're like
obscure.
16 or under, but they know who Dillon G is.
The thing is, I think it's going to be most of our base, which makes me feel a little bit weird.
I think I'm willing to bet. Maybe you can. I don't know how this Instagram thing works. Maybe you can put up a poll or something. I'm willing to bet most people know who Dillon G is. I don't think it'll be an overwhelming majority. Can you do that now? Can
Can I put up a poll now?
Just say, do you know who Dillon G is?
I can.
Yes.
I can put up one after ex post facto.
I would like to know, but okay, fine.
There's
do it
nobody
after.
listening. This is not a live
No,
podcast.
I'm just talking about on your Instagram story.
Sure.
Can you just say,
Do you want me to literally do that now?
Do you know?
Okay.
We can live check. We'll come back to it every 20 minutes or so.
Okay, that's fair.
Just say leave it as you know, ambiguous as possible.
Okay.
Do you know who Dillon G is?
Just a simple yes or no.
I feel like Dillon G has
Do you
become kind of
know who Dillon. The thing is,
the
I remember how
person
to
of
spell
this
his
pod.
name.
It's
Dillon.
It's 3. Okay. Oh, his first name. I thought he meant his last name. I was just gonna say it's 3 letters, and 2 of them are the same.
I'm surprised I even remember how to spell that because there's so many variations on how to spell the name Dillon.
There's There can't be more than 3. D-Y-L...
D-Y-L-A-N.
Yeah.
D-I-L-L-O-N.
And what else?
D-I-L-A-N.
Never heard that one. There's 2 variations.
D-I-L-L-L-A-N. D-I-L-L-A-N. D...
I don't think any, Dillon. I'm going to look that up. I don't think anyone will come up if I go D-I-L-L-A-N.
The fact that you use Microsoft Edge just irks me.
This is my work computer. No one comes up when I put Dillon. All right.
Somebody did.
No.
There's more than 3 ways to spell Dillon.
I literally said Dillon and a D-Y-L-A-N. So, I disagree. All right.
First
That's
point of
enough about
disagreement, how
Dillon. Do you have
Dillon
any
is spelled.
voters? Do you have any voters?
Let's see. I literally just
I'm
put it
gonna
up.
go- I'm gonna
We'll
vote.
see.
Actually, I want to skip
Oh,
it.
I have 10 voters
I'm
already.
going to say 7 say that they know Dillon Chi.
7 have said no,
Oh,
and 3 have said yes.
okay.
So I'm so far on top here.
I'm out of
Which
touch.
brings us to our first point. As you brought this up earlier, is we need to have an ongoing, just like bet for these random disagreements that we get into over the course of
We'll
how long
tally.
this podcast is. The tally.
1 week.
We'll call it the tally.
Okay.
So what are our stakes? So I think we need to explain. Every time we disagree on something, it adds to the tally, and we'll either put it up for vote, or there'll be an easily decisive answer for whether one of us is right or not.
And we won't just bet on polls. We can bet on actual series, I think the
Situationally
Reds-
dependent.
Situationally dependent. That's yes. But we
Very
need stakes.
articulate,
We need stakes. Do you have any stakes in mind? The first stake that came to my mind, which I don't think this is correct, but I think it's a good starting point.
No, I think I like this one.
Yeah, I think you like this one a little bit more than me.
And it was your idea in the first place.
It was a starting point. It is one of whoever wins the bet gets to slap the loser on camera. That's the first stake.
I like that.
We're working.
I like that a lot because
That could
the
be a
satisfaction-
temporary stake, but not for the Dillon G bet.
Because you're already losing.
No. We didn't determine that till after. That's not fair. I'm doing this for everyone else.
Buddy loves loopholes.
My dad's a lawyer.
My dad's a lawyer. Maybe our dad should just.
But these fans
fight
need
each
to
other.
go. They need to go. All right. Adios.
Bye.
All right. Now we can really
Now
work
we can
without
concentrate.
anyone making
You were
fun of us.
distracted before. I didn't even see them. So.
Well, I did. Yeah, I think a slap is a good. All right, a slap is a good place to start. I say the Dillon G bet. I'm gonna lose this bet, so I'm doing this for the podcast, I guess.
Well, let's
A
see where it's
soft
at now.
slap.
That was a
A
couple
soft
months ago
slap.
already.
I feel like most.
Now
people,
we're at 19 for yes and 36 for no. Damn, look how popular our page is.
Okay.
And I say our very lightly. It's my page.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna agree to any terms now. If it's 19 to 36. So no. I like the podcast, but I don't want to be slapped.
Next time.
Now, this is a work in progress. That'll be a theme. This is a work in progress.
Sure.
So
Sure. We'll figure it out as
We'll
we go
determine
along.
stakes.
We'll
Okay.
determine stakes. Personally, I would get an incredible amount of satisfaction from winding my hand up behind my back and throwing it across my body with all my might to slap you across the face. That would give me a lot of satisfaction.
That wouldn't give me any satisfaction.
No, I know.
Do you know what gives me satisfaction?
What gives you satisfaction?
I'm in first place in Matthew's Fantasy Baseball League. I'm 10-1-1.
You say this.
I have the most points in the league.
You have the most points in front of me by like 70, which is nothing.
I'll repeat.
Because
I have the most points in the Fantasy Baseball League. And I'm 10-1-1.
You have like 1,300 points, and I have like 1,270. It's
So
very
it was
close.
just 70 points. The gap has now.
Who's the one person who you didn't beat? Me.
We tied.
We tied.
So no
Which
one
is highly improbable.
Thank you for bringing it up that no
improbable.
one has beaten me. You
It's
are right.
ridiculously
You are
improbable
right.
that we tied.
You are right. No one has beaten me. Thank you for bringing that up. I am technically undefeated, actually. So thank you.
You have one in the loss column.
Okay, well,
You're 10-1-1.
but no one has beat me in an individual matchup. No one has beat me. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Okay.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
No, you're right. You're right. Nobody's beaten you yet.
Well, I did not hear you.
One more point, and I would have beaten you.
One more point, and I would have beaten you. So I'm in first place,
For the
and I
last
have
4
not
weeks,
lost.
I've outscored you.
I don't know if that's true.
I think it's true.
Well, you didn't outscore me when we played.
No, I didn't.
And that was within the last 4 weeks.
There's easily been 3 matchups since then, and I've outscored you every
All
time.
right. Okay. Nobody cares about our fantasy baseball. Well, no one cares about this podcast, but nobody cares about our fantasy baseball league, and people care about Major League Baseball.
They do.
So I feel like we should talk about that.
A lot of people care about Major League Baseball, despite popular opinion.
Somewhat. Yes.
No, I think a lot of people care.
A decent amount.
If 18,000 people care about my individual page, there are a lot of people who care about Major League Baseball.
Sure. What has been standing out to you in Major League Baseball this season, this past few weeks? What's on your mind?
Well, on my mind most prevalently is this series between the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
A lot of animosity.
A lot of animosity. We got a lot going on. We got Judge with the shifty eyes. We got shifty eye Aaron Judge. We got Domingo Germán getting ejected.
Which feels like the third time this season.
It's the second time that he's been caught. The first time that he's been ejected. Max Scherzer
There's
justice.
a pattern. Yeah.
There is a pattern.
The Yankees are cheaters, essentially. No. Okay, to jump into it, I don't know if I think the narrative that the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. I'll preface that. I'm a Dodgers fan.
Who doesn't? It doesn't even matter who you're a fan of. Everybody hates the Yankees unless you're a Yankees fan.
Yeah, I'm not a Yankees fan, so I hate the Yankees. I think it's a little ridiculous to say that base coaches were relaying signs to Aaron Judge, and even if that was the case without technology, it is important to bring up that I'm a Dodgers fan because technology is very important to me when relaying signs.
Technology is important to you.
When relaying signs because
what about just
the
in
2017
general, is technology
Astros
important to you?
Ruined my childhood.
Do you appreciate every year when a new iPhone comes out?
Well, that's a different question. Technology is important, yes. I think it's a little ridiculous. All right, I'm going to take both sides here. I think it's a little ridiculous that people are saying base coaches are relaying signs, or people are distraught that base coaches are relaying signs to Aaron Judge, because if that was the case, pitcher's tipping, and if his pitcher is tipping, you can steal signs. That's part of baseball.
That's part of baseball.
But I also think it's a little...
See, side note, that's been convoluted over the past few years. Since the Astros scandal, tipping pitches has become less of a negative thing for the team that's actually tipping and more of a negative thing for the team that's picking up on it, when that's completely not true. Tipping pitches is a part of the game. If your team is smart enough to pick up on when when a pitcher is tipping pitches, that's part of baseball. A guy standing on second base, he sees a pitcher holding his glove down here when he's throwing a curveball, holding his glove up here when he's holding a fastball. He relays that to his teammate in the dugout. That's not illegal. Tipping pitches has become a negative connotation thing for offensive teams when that's simply not how it should be.
I don't think tipping pitches is a negative connotated thing for the teams picking up pitches unless there is unless there's ambiguity around another SAT word around
ambiguity.
If there's any possibility that the team stealing signs is cheating in any form outside of just manually saying like this pitcher is telling me this, then it is a gray area because of the Astros, because that's kind of like steroids in the 80s and the 90s, you know. It's a lot of people fall on different
topic
yeah,
for sure. Exactly.
And we don't know. I mean, we don't know how. I think it's pretty clear that the who was the pitcher for the Blue Jays? Do you remember?
When
Judge hit his second home run. It was a minor leaguer who had, I know, not really had a long stint in the majors. Kind of been in up and down. But I think it's pretty clear there was no technology involved in this. But what I wanted to say, I also thought it was ridiculous, Judge's excuse. I think it's pretty clear. Would you agree with this or not? I think it's pretty clear the Blue Jays were their pitcher was tipping pitches, and the Yankees were picking up on them.
Sure, but what do you want to say?
No, but I'm not even disagreeing with you.
Okay,
I don't think that's bullshit. I think they should be allowed to pick up. There's nothing wrong with that. But I thought Judge's excuse, where he was like, "Oh, Boone got ejected, and I was trying to calm down our dugout by flashing my eyes once."
That's not what he said. He said that he was looking over to the dugout because they were making a lot of noise, and he wanted to concentrate on his at bat.
Okay, whatever you just said, I think that's also a total lie. I think the Yankees. I don't think the Yankees should be in any hot water for this, but it's pretty clear they were picking up something, and it led to a lot of animosity in this series. And then to later have this happen in the first game of the series, to then in the rubber mat or the third game of this series, then have a pitcher literally be ejected for having a foreign substance is not a good look.
It's not a good look, but it's apples to oranges. They're completely unrelated things.
Mm-hmm.
Domingo Germán, first of all, has
They are
already
unrelated.
been caught earlier this season for using
Been caught
foreign
doing a lot of
substances.
terrible things.
Yes, he's had a tumultuous life and tumultuous career, all brought upon himself, admittedly. So that's first off, not making any excuses for Domingo Germán. However, I'm not the least bit surprised that he was caught for using foreign substances because literally 2 weeks ago he was caught for using foreign substances, but they didn't eject him, and now they caught him for doing it and they ejected him, which I understand. However, nothing to do with the drug incident.
But it's the same series. It's the same series.
Can the guy not look over to the dugout without being scrutinized?
No, I don't think Aaron Judge should be in any hot water. But I don't
think the Aaron Judge or the Yankees should be in any hot water. Domingo Germán was an individual decision to use a foreign substance, spider tack, pine tar, and sweat, whatever it was. Sunscreen, whatever it was. That was an individual decision of Domingo Germán. He was stupid enough to do it twice.
Yes. That, as far as we know. I mean, if you hadn't gotten caught.
Who knows who knows what the state of the game would even be?
Yeah, and he's having. Coincidentally, I know he's on Matthew's fantasy team. He's having a revitalized year. We'll see if that continues. But
I don't know if revitalized is the right word. He's always been a very solid pitcher.
He had some.
However, he's suspended for 10 games. He's going to be on the waiver wire very soon. I'll assure you that.
Well, after Dustin May, Max Fried, and I have Tristan McKenzie on my team, maybe I'll pick him up. But I wouldn't say he's had I would say he's had an up and down career.
I don't know. He used to be number 55. Now he's number 0. If that's what you consider up and down. He's got a He's got a .9 WHIP this season. That's
he had a 5.57 ERA last year.
How many innings did he pitch?
85.
That's not a lot of innings.
Oh wait, no, this is 2018. I'm looking at this wrong.
Buddy doesn't know what year.
All right, I'm looking from top to bottom. I should be looking from bottom to top. He's had a fine career. He's whatever. But I don't know. I don't think it's. I think first of all, I like to see as a neutral fan, I like to see the Yankees and the Blue Jays, two very good teams in the same division. Blue Jays have a very young roster. I like to see kind of this animosity between the two teams. I mean, they're going to play a lot more throughout the course of the year in the next few years. I don't think, all right, what did you think about the John Schneider clip when he was clearly yelling something at the Yankees? He was telling someone in the Yankees dugout to shut up. He said, "Shut up, fat boy." But he said, "Shut up, fat boy, shut up." Quote, yeah. I don't think that's an unwarranted response when the events of this series have unfolded. All right.
I'll preface this by saying I do not support fat phobia in the slightest. However,
I agree with you. Oh, I didn't mean that. I meant animosity from the Blue Jays manager to the Yankees dugout after the course of the series happened.
I am a staunch supporter of ad hoc comments directed towards the other team, personal attacks, hitting them where it hurts, yelling at the other team. I'm all for it.
I'm just saying if you were a Toronto Blue Jays fan, I would be.
Okay, So I'm a Toronto. Okay, I just need to get in the
turn
mindset.
off the Yankees brain.
No, okay.
Even though it's a parasite that it's taken over everything in your brain. It's incapable of turning off.
Nobody knows my true fandom.
He's a Yankees fan.
That's not true.
He's a Yankees fan.
Okay, I gotta get in Blue Jays fan mindset. Okay, so I'm
just saying. All right, you have the judge.
Let me fall into character.
What do you need? Do you need silence for that?
I need absolute silence to fall into character. Okay. So I'm a Blue Jays fan. I'm living in Canada. Let's say no. Toronto's the proximity is too close.
The Edmonton Emperors.
I'm gonna say Regina, Saskatchewan.
Wait, that's all right. I have a question for you. if you live in Vancouver, right? You're
Yeah.
Western Canada. Do you root for the Blue Jays? Do you root for the Mariners?
No, you root for the Blue Jays. You root for your country. You don't root for the
Let's look that up if it can be looked up.
Vancouver.
What
baseball
MLB team does I would say
We're really going
they're
down
so
that.
close
We're
to
going
Seattle.
down- No, they are close.
I would
It's
say
an hour and a
Seattle.
half. I've spent a good amount of time there.
Vancouver is a viable MLB city for expansion.
Don't need to know that. Not gonna happen.
All right, there's no answer.
There's no answer. All right, super sleuth over here. Okay, Toronto Blue Jays. I'm a Toronto Blue Jays fan. I
Well,
live in Canada. I live in a random city in Canada. What's your question? I like the Blue Jays. I like the Calgary Flames. I like Tim Hortons. I'm nice to everybody. I eat a lot of maple syrup. Go ahead.
would you say you eat a lot of maple syrup or you drink a
No,
lot?
I eat it. I chew it.
You can't chew; it's a liquid.
That's bullshit.
All right, so let's go through. I feel like the order of events is important, right? You have the Judge incident where. Do you buy?
It's not an incident. It's making a whole lot of
We're
something
talking
out of
about it
absolutely
first
nothing.
on our podcast, so it's an incident.
Whatever.
Do you buy Judge's excuse that he was looking at his teammates?
I buy his excuse. The dude doesn't need to explain himself for moving his eyes in a certain direction.
Well,
He can look wherever the hell he wants.
How often does an opposing MLB broadcast accuse a player of cheating? And a very respected broadcaster, Dan Shulman, he's a great broadcaster, he's one of the best in the league. Like, I think there's something there. I'm not even accusing Aaron Judge of doing anything.
No, I understand.
I'm saying the events,
that.
the events that unfolded throughout this series, if I'm a Toronto Blue Jay, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off at the Yankees.
Well,
I'm
because
pissed
they're
off-
wiping the floor with you? Is that why
I mean,
you're
I
pissed
think,
off at the
I think
Yankees?
the Blue Jays have a better record than the Yankees right now. Just
I'm
like I have a
talking about
better
the
record than
head-to-head
Matthew in
record.
fantasy baseball.
Shut up. Unnecessary.
I was just making the viewer understand, the listener.
The Yankees have wiped the floor with the Blue Jays in each of the games this series so far. Aaron just hit 4 home runs in 3 games.
He's unbelievable. I'm not disputing that. He's amazing.
Anthony Rizzo was AL Player of the Week. Harrison Bader is on an absolute tear. Garrett Cole could potentially win AL Cy Young.
Okay, whatever.
Gleyber Torres blows chunks.
All right. Let's end on this. Toronto and New York are going to play lots of games. They're both going to be very good for the next few years. I think this is developed. Would you call this? I wouldn't call this a rivalry yet, but
It's a first of all, they're
I think maybe
baseline
this
division
series-
rivalry.
this series, yeah, okay, but yeah, whatever. I think this series has maybe put these two teams into the echelon of a rivalry.
I would put it in rivalry category.
And they're both very good. They're 2 of the 10 best teams in the league. I
would
think
agree
it's
they're in
good.
the top third.
What?
I would agree they're in the top.
Yeah, they're in the
third.
top. I mean, talent-wise, the Blue Jays are one of the best teams in the league.
Absolutely.
Yankees have
Offensively, at the very
Yankees
least.
have probably the Yankees are one of the best teams in the league as well. One of the best pitchers, one of the best hitters in the league. I think I don't know. I don't even know what my point is
You've
here.
got a lot of tabs open there.
I do. I'm doing research for this
Okay,
podcast.
Thank you. Okay, you're saying I don't know what my point is here.
My point is this. I understand why. Do I think? All right. The mainstream, the non-MLB viewer who looks on Twitter and says Aaron Judge and the Yankees were cheating, I think that's stupid. I also think the Yankees have brought their events throughout the course of this series, not really, kind of coming up with bullshit excuses, being unapologetic, having a player ejected from the series. As a neutral fan, as a Yankee hater, I also think that's quite annoying. I think these two teams are just going to continue to hate each other. They're going to play great baseball. They're probably both going to make the playoffs. This is good for the league. They're talented teams. And, it's good. Animosity is good. I enjoy animosity. I enjoy watching fights. I enjoy when teams dislike each other, when there's legitimate
It makes
disdain.
things interesting.
Do I think Aaron Judge was cheating? Short answer, no. But I'm excited for the next Toronto Yankees series. I'll say that.
When is that? Can we figure that out?
Next Toronto.
That's not what you search. You just search the Yankees schedule.
Oh, they're playing right now?
Yeah, the series is not over. It's Wednesday.
They play the first game of the series on Sunday?
Series go from
Mondays
Monday
to Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday. And
But the
then-
Judge thing was on Sunday.
I think that was on Monday.
It was on Monday. You're right.
Yeah.
This is only the third game of the series?
You know?
All right. See? I am tuned in for the next Toronto Yankees game.
Oh, you
It's
said
0-0
series.
in the bottom of the second. The Yankees have made 2 errors so far in 2 innings.
Wonderful.
Garrett Cole is
hasn't
pitching.
meant anything. Yes, we talked about this earlier today, actually.
I do think, all right, to make their... I think, all right, we disagree on a lot of stuff. I think one thing we can agree on is we fucking hate Rob Manfred. And I think this is just these events and these ambiguous, how do you say that word? Ambiguous. These ambiguous situations around cheating are just a general result of a team cheating to win a championship and then the league not throwing the hammer at them.
No.
This is what's going to happen.
You're
I think
right.
there'll be plenty of situations.
Everybody's always
People
looking
are
for
paranoid.
something to look
Teams-
for now.
Teams are paranoid because we genuinely have no answer about what happened in 2017. Did the Astros cheat on the road too? Were other MLB teams cheating? They're fair, legitimate questions. We don't know the answers.
Nobody may ever know.
And now I think we can both agree, we're paranoid about cheating in baseball. We don't know what's happening.
No, it's fair. I mean, I think that everything has been blown way out of proportion. I personally don't think that the Yankees or Aaron Judge were cheating. The guy moved his eyeballs. I mean, let's give him a break here. He can look wherever he wants. Maybe he saw a very beautiful woman in the stands. Maybe
I'm pretty sure Aaron Judge is married or not.
He is
engaged.
married. No, he's married.
Does Aaron Judge believe in polygamy?
That's something you'd have to ask him.
I'll bring it up next time I see him. All right. The Yankees,
Aside-
the Blue Jays, they're in the AL East. The AL East is the best division in baseball,
Well,
I think, pretty clearly. We can both agree on that. And the team leading the AL East is the Tampa Bay Rays. They're playing. They can hit. They can pitch.
13-0 to start the season.
Unbelievable team. They have dudes out of their line, in every part of their lineup, hitting for power, hitting for contact. They have nasty pitchers that they spawn. And when a team is leading the best division in baseball, has the best record in baseball, the natural question is, are they the best team in baseball? Are they the favorites?
That's a very fair question.
I'll pose it to you right now. Before you dive into it, I just want a yes or no answer. Are the Tampa Bay Rays the front runners for the World Series?
I am going to say no.
Yeah, okay.
For one reason only, is because this team to me is not tangibly different than any team that the Tampa Bay Rays have put on the field for the past 5 years that have fallen short in the playoffs every single time.
Yes. I don't disagree.
They have had. The thing is, I know this formula is working, right? They don't sign free agents. They don't make trades at the deadline. They don't bring in talent unless it's homegrown guys who they brought in from the farm system. However, it's working for them right now, right? And would I be surprised if the Tampa Bay Rays win the World Series? No, not in the slightest bit. But if I had to make a prediction, I would still go just baseline, money line, best bet. Despite how they've started the season, I'm still going with the Houston Astros as of now, a quarter of the way through the year, because their formula has proven to work. Their formula worked in 2017, whether they were cheating or not. Their formula worked again last year. They have a great team, and the Tampa Bay Rays have proven this formula, even if it gets you a great regular season record, even if it gets you past some of these teams in the early rounds of the playoffs, it doesn't get you all the way. And until I see it happen, I can't fully buy into it.
Yeah, all right. I have multiple things now. To talk about the Astros very briefly, I don't disagree with you that they were the best team, the best organization from 2017.
Even in 2017 with the cheating.
No, I don't even whatever. 2017 to 2022, they're the best organization in the league.
Absolutely.
I think it's pretty clear. But their organization has changed. They have a new GM, they have new ownership, they have new foundation.
Lots changed.
They don't have that kind of dedication to analytics anymore, which I think was such a big aspect of them being successful.
What makes you say that?
They're I forget who it was. Someone, I think it was the president of the Astros, literally said, I think it was Jeff Bagwell, who works in the Astros organization.
Yeah?
I'm pretty, I'll look it up. Jeff Bagwell, I'm pretty sure he has a job.
You don't have to search Jeff Bagwell Astros. He's just...
All right, he works in their front office. Google has confirmed he's senior advisor of ownership and baseball operations. To summarize, James Click was their GM. He was a free agent. They parted ways, and they just won the World Series. Why would you part with the GM? Jeff Bagwell and the Astros organization essentially said James Click was too dedicated to analytics. Jeff Bagwell played obviously in the pre-analytics era. And there's some disagreement there on analytics and their dedication to it, and that's why I honestly think that's a little bit responsible for the Astros' slow start. I don't think they're going to be as dominant as they were in the past few years. But to answer the first question,
has not helped that Altuve has missed the first 2 months.
No, it hasn't. I mean, they're essentially a 500 team right now. They're 2 games over, maybe. Yeah, but whatever. To answer your question about the Tampa Bay Rays, I agree with everything you're saying. I don't think if you said, are they the most talented team in the league, the answer would be no. Are they the smartest team in the league? Maybe yes.
I would agree with that.
Them or the Dodgers, I would say yes. But I agree with you. I don't think this team, I wouldn't say this team is the same as the teams they've had in the past few years. I think Wander Franco, Randy Arozarena. Wander Franco's taken it to a new level. Randy Arozarena has taken it, obviously we saw some postseasons where he was Barry Bonds, but I think he's taken it to new heights as a player in terms of consistency. You have guys in their lineup that weren't all too consistent in Brandon Lau, Yandy Diaz, Taylor Wells. Is it Taylor Walls or Wells? I always get the Orioles. Walls. You have guys who are hitting who haven't really been hitting. So I wouldn't say this is the same team. And I think they're a very good team, but I don't think that. I mean, let's say it's October and the Rays are playing Atlanta and you're a neutral fan and you're watching the game. I don't think there's any way to watch those teams play and not have a takeaway that Atlanta's more talented than them.
No, absolutely.
The Dodgers are more talented than them. Even the Toronto's a more talented team.
No, for sure. Even just, I know on paper means absolutely nothing in baseball. However, you have to think about it a little bit. You see a team like Tampa Bay Rays, you don't have a lot of big names. You got your Wander Franco, your Rosarena. But really, who else is there? Shane McClanahan? Okay.
Oh, they have talent. Glasnow's supposed to come back.
No, they definitely have talent. I'm not going to
they're pitchers. They can spawn pitchers. That's what makes them so successful is how the Rays can, first of all, identify talent better than any team in the league, and they can take your average AA pitcher, study him, and say, this is what makes you good, just do this, when other teams aren't that smart. But I think what makes the Rays so... I think it's bullshit when fans are like, this team isn't built for the postseason, or this team is a regular season team.
I don't agree with that.
But, all right,
the Rays are built for the postseason.
But what I was going to say is I think the Rays, right, all right, they've sustained injuries to their starting pitching a lot. Springs is injured, Rasmussen's injured, and they've been able to recover because they have guys that they can churn into good MLB starters, into good MLB relievers. But when you get to the playoffs and that roster shrinks, I think that's a disadvantage to the Rays more than any other team in the league because that roster fluctuation, kind of the ability to withstand injuries, to have like the Rays go, obviously an MLB roster is not 40 guys, but I think the Rays go 40, 45 guys deep when other teams in the league don't really do that. And then once you get to the playoffs, you go 25, 28 deep. It doesn't really matter how the depth of your organization in the AAA, in the farm system, and I think that's a little bit of the factor for me. The talent is a little bit of the factor. They're right in the mix. Tampa, Atlanta, the Dodgers, the Astros. These teams are totally World Series contenders. The Yankees are in there. The Orioles I would put in there. They're totally at the upper echelon of the league, but they're not a runaway favorite at all. I mean, if I had to bet my life on...
There's no runaway favorite in MLB
that's right the thing.
The way the season has gone,
there's no... But the sport in itself doesn't create runaway favorites.
Which is what I love about it most.
Yeah, it's parity. You watch
really any other sport, and you're going to have those
It's the reason we love March Madness. It's because we don't know who's going to win it. It's the reason we love the baseball playoffs. No one thought the Phillies, a random inning in the Phillies-Cardinals, wild card series creates random momentum that the Phillies don't look back and they make the World Series and they're up, 2-1 against a more talented team. But I don't think Tampa is this generational team. Their record kind of states, that they're this team they've won 32 out of 43 games. They're on pace for this 115, 120 win season. I don't think I wouldn't be all right. I'll go even further. You're taking Tampa or the field to win the AL East. I'm probably taking Tampa, but I'm thinking about it with the rest of the talent in the AL East. Baltimore's only 4.5 games back.
Baltimore, I could legitimately see snagging a wild card spot and getting hot and winning the World Series.
Yeah, Baltimore. That's the thing. We've been talking about it. The difference between regular season and postseason. Postseason is so momentum based. If you were to identify a 2023 Phillies, I think most baseball fans would look at Baltimore. That crowd that can get into it, that mobilizes around a young team. They've got arms. The Phillies are such a great example of this last playoffs, right? The Phillies just rode 5 arms. It was Wheeler, it was Nola, it was Suarez, it was Dominguez, and it was Alvarado. It was like every big inning, those 5 guys pitched, and then eventually they ran out of gas in the World Series. I think the same thing can happen with Baltimore. They have a few dominant relievers, balls at the top of their rotation. They have arms. They have Rushman, who's unbelievable. Santander might be the most underrated player.
Slow start this year.
Yeah, but I think he's incredibly underrated of a player. They have fans who are mobilizing. I mean, they're 12 games over 500. To act like the AL has 7 teams, maybe 8 that are quality teams that can get hot and win a few playoff series. There is no favorite in the AL, and I don't even think there's that big of a gap between Tampa and the rest of them. And that's representative of baseball today. Tampa's a great team, but I mean, I don't think they are this runaway favorite. And I mean, they'll probably win 100 games, but
when's the last time in baseball that we saw a quote-unquote runaway favorite actually win the World Series?
I can't
Almost
remember.
never. I can't remember either.
I can't remember.
Even last season, the Astros were obviously the best team, but they didn't have the best record.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it didn't. I can't really. I mean,
it doesn't happen in baseball.
I mean, the 2020 Dodgers are pretty good.
Yeah.
I know.
2020.
Yeah.
Don't even give me.
No. It's but you're right. You're right. It's such a small sample size. It's wide open. I think the better question is Tampa. I don't even think I would put them as the best regular season team in the league at the end of the year. Atlanta, the Dodgers, I think they're in the same echelon. They're in the same tier at the very least.
Tampa for me is built for the regular season, and it's because they have a very broad team. But what we've seen over the course of baseball over the past few years is it takes 2 to 3 clutch guys.
I hate that word. Clutch. I think it's bullshit.
I don't think it's bullshit. It takes 2 to 3 guys with that vibe, with that aura, with that X factor that you can't quite put.
You don't think Randy Arozarena has that X factor?
But you need more than Randy Arozarena.
You don't think? I think Wander Franco has that X factor too.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. He's 21 years old.
He had a pretty good playoffs in his rookie year. He had a pretty good playoff.
He did, but I don't know. I can't say it yet. There's something about the Rays that's just a regular season team for me. And I'm not saying this because I want to hate on the Rays. I think they're very, very talented, and I love the way they play the game. But it's just a team that's built like them with this lack of full star power, this broad, deep kind of team that, regardless of the sport, honestly, just never gets it done.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit unfair to expectation-wise to expect such a low payroll to get it done in such a difficult sport. But all right, do you think the crowd the lack of crowd plays any factor in that as well.
I'm a big intangible guy. However, I don't think that necessarily has a ton to do with it. I think it's maybe a 1 or 2 game difference over the course of the season.
Yeah. No, I mean, playoff-wise. Because, I mean, we saw the Philly crowd. I keep talking about Philly, but I think they're such a good example of the randomness. Yeah, no, but I mean, I think Philly is such a good example. 2022 Philly is such a good example of the randomness of the playoffs. You need arms to ride. You need their crowds were insane. They hit a bunch of home runs. I don't necessarily think Tampa.
Behind them.
Yeah, I don't think. All right, to wrap this up, I don't think Tampa doesn't fall into that category. I think they're gonna. I mean, they're analytically savvy. They try to launch the ball. I think they're gonna hit a shit ton of home runs. I think their arms are very good. The crowd, I guess, is a bit of a question mark. But to act like they're so much better than the rest of the league, the best teams in the league are right there with them. Tampa can win a World Series, but the rest, Atlanta, the Dodgers, the Astros probably eventually, maybe the Orioles, another team in the AL East. You know, I think even the Mets. I mean, the Mets are another question, but the Mets at full strength, if they start playing well, are right there with them. That's what I think, and the Mets are I think the Mets are the most interesting team in the league right now.
That's why we play 162 games.
Yeah, I think they're the most interesting team in the league right now.
Literally, that's why the 2020 season didn't mean anything.
Let's not talk about the 2020. I got to see the Dodgers win the World Series. Tell me whatever you want. I got to see Julio Urias strike out Willy Adames, mob Austin Barnes, and the Dodgers celebrated. I don't care what anyone says. Mickey Mouse. I'll say it myself. Mickey Mouse. I don't give a shit. I got to see it. But that was a few years ago. Let's focus on the 2023 season. The Mets. Are they this bad? What are they going to turn it around, or are these the Mets?
No, the Mets are I think the Mets are going to inevitably turn around. As much hate as I like to give the Mets, you can't deny that over the course of an entire season, talent has a lot to do. Just raw talent has a lot to do with the inevitable outcome. Right? What are they?
Yeah.
What's the record right now?
20 and 2023. It's the year. Great year. 2023.
2023 is the record. No, I think the Mets, they're a very talented team. They played 43 games. That is nothing. That is absolutely nothing. They have 119 games
It's more than a fourth this season.
Okay, look at the 2019 Nationals. They were dog shit through the first half of the season, and then they came back and won the World Series. I mean, you can look back. You can scroll back on my feed to 2019, and I shat all over the Washington Nationals the entire first half of the season, and that is the last time I will ever judge a team by the first half of their season.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. That's totally fair. And you're right. We keep coming back to this. Talent wins. Scherzer, Strasburg,
Absolutely.
Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Rendon. Talent wins. My question to you is this: are the Mets really that talented?
I think the Mets.
I don't think the Mets are that talented without Edwin Diaz. They lost the best player on their team.
Edwin Diaz was the
He's not the most important player on their team, but I don't think there's anyone in the league who was more dominant last year than Edwin Diaz.
That's true.
He was an automatic in the ninth inning.
Okay, but
Tommy Pham is hitting fifth. Tommy Pham is hitting fifth for the Mets. Tommy Pham is hitting fifth. Starling Marte is not the same player he was, and then they're relying on a bunch of guys who are question marks, who are supposed to be good. Beatty's supposed to be good. Alvarez is supposed to be good. They just called out Vientos. They're supposed to be good, but they're not. We have no proof that these guys can hit in the league. I don't think their team is that talented. I just genuinely don't. I don't think the back half of their rotation is good. I don't think their bullpen is good. I don't think the back half of their lineup is good. Brandon Nimmo is a fine. He's a league average leadoff hitter. Lindor's a league average 2-hitter. Your first instinct is to question that. I don't think that's that ridiculous. He's a great defender and he's a shortstop, a premium position. I think he's a league average.
In our fantasy league then.
He's a league average 2-hitter. Jeff McNeil's hitting third. I mean, Pete can hit bombs. McNeil's a great hitter. I'm not going to say Lindor's a bad hitter. He's not. Nimmo is actually kind of everything I like in a leadoff hitter.
I'm asking you to think about the upside. What if everything for the Mets was going right now? What would you be saying? Would you say this team is overperforming? Would you say this team is overgrowing it? Everything, instead of going wrong for the Mets right now, was going right for the Mets right now. Would you say they are overperforming, or would you say they are meeting expectations? Because that right there defines for me how your true feelings for what they're going to accomplish this season actually would be.
If everything was going right for the Mets, I don't think they would be overperforming. I still think they'd be the third best team in the NL. That's what I think. I don't think
third best. Okay. Here's what
no,
I
but
say.
here's
what I say about third best
contender.
in the NL. That's a playoff team, and when you're in the playoffs, absolutely anything can happen.
But let's talk about the
All you need
playoffs.
to be is top 5.
You're right. You have to.
Need to be is top 5.
You have to make the playoffs.
You only need to be is top 6.
Okay, you have to make the playoffs. Sure, you have to make the playoffs. Let's talk about that playoff recipe again. 2 40-year-olds at the top of your rotation. No
Fine,
closer.
I don't think they're dominant.
No closer. Those are things that matter. I mean, we saw Scherzer in the 2021 playoffs. He couldn't pitch anymore when the team tried to ride him. The Mets made the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, they're going to try to ride Scherzer. They're going to try to ride Verlander. Verlander hasn't. These guys are old. I don't think they're a team necessarily set up for postseason success. I actually do like Senga a lot, but I don't trust the back half of their rotation. They just demoted Peterson, Lucchesi, Carlos Carrasco at his old age. Like, that dude needs AARP. Like,
he's not that old.
He's not that old, but I don't think they're a team. I think there is a gap between how talented we think the Mets are and how talented they actually are. I think the Mets will figure it out. Like, I don't think they're going to go right there on like a 75-win pace. Do I think that's going to happen? Hell no. I think they'll probably win closer to 90 games. I just don't think this is a World Series roster right now. I think Atlanta's better. I think
I'll agree with you. They're a better team.
San Diego's more talented. I think Arizona could beat them in a playoff series.
I think Arizona could beat them in a playoff season.
I think the Phillies. I think there's a gap.
I don't know the Phillies. However, I think that they're underperforming.
They are underperforming.
And
I mean,
they're going to pick it up. We play 162 games in a season for a reason. I'm not calling mercy on the Mets yet.
I'm not calling mercy on the Mets either. I mean, they played. I agree with you. I think they're going to turn around and win close to 90 games. I do think they're underperforming. I think
we win over 90 games.
I think they're going to win less than 90 games.
Is there a reverse bet?
I'll bet you. I mean, we have no stakes, but
90 or more.
I think they'll win 9. I think they'll win somewhere in the 80s. I mean, I do think. I mean, they've only played. They played.
Pee so bad.
All right.
So
all right. Before I have to pee as well. Before we go to the bathroom, it is important they played 27 road games, 16 home games. That matters. I just don't think the Mets are. I think their preseason expectations were too daunting. Do I think this will continue for a full year? No. If I had to pick, I would say the Mets don't win a playoff series. First, they do. I don't think they're going to represent the NL.
I don't necessarily know they're going to represent the AL, but I think they will make the playoffs, and they will at least be in the NLDS. Do you count the wild card series as a playoff series?
Yeah, I think if you're they're not in the Dodgers if they're playing their best, they're not in that Dodgers, Braves, Astros tier.
I disagree.
They're in the Toronto.
Everybody on the team is healthy, and everybody on the team is playing at the top of their game, you don't think they're in that upper echelon? Because I think they absolutely are.
If the entire roster is playing well, it's a big if. By October, they're in the second tier. By October, I think they're in that Toronto, San Diego, Milwaukee, Texas tier.
I wouldn't even put San Diego and Texas in the same tier.
That's what I think. I think their
performance.
I think the expectations were unfair.
New York.
They're going to be playing 3 rookies.
Those are the Milwaukee and your Arizona. I don't know.
I think they're playing 3 rookies. They're going to be playing 3 literally new to the major leagues guys consistently at a premium position like a catcher. I just don't think their roster is that good. I think they should have. Correa is a big deal. Obviously, that's a whole thing to divulge in. He's been shit, but that's a big deal that they didn't sign him, I think. I don't think the bottom half of their lineup is that good. Wait, what's the Dillon G poll at?
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm sure that it's losing.
It's 376 votes for no and 142 for yes.
Your followers are casuals.
51 minutes ago it was posted.
Did anyone swipe up?
Let's see. Mets legend. He's Dillon.
I feel like no one's gonna be like, no, Mets legend.
Mets legend.
The next one says Mets legend too.
Mets legend Dillon G. Yeah.
Mets legend.
Mets legend Dillon G. What's with that? Everybody commented the exact same thing.
Interesting. I say we do division. All right, let's come up with a list of buy or sell people.
Okay, I'm gonna put
James
let's,
Outman.
Let's at least do two.
Josiah Gray.
I'm gonna have Brent Rooker, Yandy Diaz.
Okay. And then I'm gonna throw in a surprise one at the end.
Okay. And then we'll answer our questions.
Yeah. Okay. I'm back.
Follow-up questions.
What were we even talking
I'll
about?
briefly mention the fan fiction, and then we'll answer.
No fan fiction.
No, I'm.
Next time.
I'm gonna mention it. Just
All right.
get the idea in their heads.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Is this the same angle that it was before?
I think so. It doesn't matter.
Close enough. Okay. Where are we at now?
Did you turn it back on?
It didn't stop.
Okay. I mean, we just talked about the Mets. We disagreed about the Mets. We had a piss, and now we're done with the Mets.
Okay.
We're
talking buy or sell.
Buy or sell. Okay, I like that game.
Okay.
So, season
early season hot streaks. We got some guys coming out of seemingly nowhere who are very hot. We have some very hot pitchers. We have some very hot batters. So without further ado, let's talk about some pitchers and some batters who have started off the season very, very well, and talk about whether we are going to buy or sell on their hot starts. I'm going to start by asking you about the leader in OPS in Major League Baseball, Brent Rooker.
Brent Rooker. It's an interesting question. I don't know if I necessarily. I mean, all right. He leads the league in OPS. He's hit many home runs. He's on a bad team, which I think helps him a little bit. But I would sell Brent Rooker. I would probably sell Brent Rooker. I mean,
Look at those metrics.
The Baseball Savant page is a little ridiculous. Everything is
very
red.
ridiculous.
Everything is red. I think he's a pure power hitter. All right, how many home runs? Do I think he could hit
11.
Do I think he could hit 35, 40 home runs this year? I wouldn't be surprised at all. He's 28, and we're finally seeing him hit the ball
Peak Rooker.
Peak Rooker. In a pretty ideal situation where there's 8 people at his games and they don't matter. He's down 8-0, so let's just try to end the game as fast as possible from fastballs. But I mean, he's a pure power hitter. He's a pure power hitter. He's going to strike out a lot. He's going to hit a bunch of home runs. Do I think he's going to
that much?
He's got a 6% whiff percentage on Baseball Savant. It's pretty low.
Okay, but what's his K percentage?
43%. But I mean, I don't think he is. I think the power is legit.
Is he an all-star? Does he get at least one MVP vote?
Well, the A's need an all-star, and he will not get an MVP vote. All right, I'll say this: I don't think he's going to have a season where he hits more home runs than this one. He's a good player. He's a good player. He's fine.
He's fine?
He's on the A's.
You're saying this about the guy who leads Major League Baseball in OPS? Is top 5%.
Everything is up this year.
Expected batting average, expected slugging percentage, weighted on base average, expected weighted on base average, ex-Wobacon, hard hit percentage, walk percentage. That goes a long way for me.
Yeah, it's a small sample size.
It's not that small sample size.
40 games, yeah, sure. I don't think he's necessarily keeping this up. I don't think he's
I don't know. You gotta remember that this guy is a former first-round pick who's battled injuries for the past few years. He was insane in college, absolutely insane. I've shown you his stats from Mississippi State. He was College Baseball Player of the Year. He was SEC Baseball Player of the Year. He is He's always been a stud. I've been very high on Rooker from the moment he was drafted, before he was even drafted. God bless you.
Thank you.
I've been high on Rooker for a very, very long time, and I'm very, very, very glad to see him finally break through. I am buying on Brent Rooker. Will he lead the league in OPS all season? Can't say that for sure. That's a very hard thing to do. Even the best player in baseball doesn't necessarily do that every year. However, I'm buying on Brent Rooker. I think he has the raw talent to do what he's doing right now. He's in an incredibly low-pressure environment. He has absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. He could be a trade deadline candidate. I am buying on Brent Rooker.
Why would the A's trade the best young player on their team?
They do that every year.
No, not if they're moving. Not if they're moving. If they're moving to Vegas, they need someone to build around.
They're going to build around 28-year-old Brent Rooker. He's going to be
You're buying him. Are you buying him or selling him?
I'm buying him. I'm just saying I wouldn't build around him. He's 28. He's going to be 33 by the time they actually have this move finalized.
He's a good player. He's on the Oakland A's. We don't have to think about him. He's going to win 30 games over the next 5 years combined. And he might hit a shit ton of home runs, but he's going to make it 9-2.
You have over 30 Warrior making on the Hall of Fame ballot. You get eliminated after
I'm trying to say I don't
year.
care about Brent Rooker because he's on the Oakland Athletics, a Double-A baseball team. And he could hit as many. If a tree falls in the woods.
Will Brent Rooker be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
No, the answer is no. Speaking of first ballot Hall of Famers, the Dodgers have done it again.
Don't even get
The Dodgers have done it again.
Don't even start with me right now.
They have created another rookie in the lab, another rookie outfielder.
In the lab.
Who hits a shit ton of home runs and isn't even that high of a prospect, following in the footsteps of Jock Peterson, Cody Bellinger.
Where's he now? Where's Jock Peterson now?
Well, let's segue.
Just say Jock Peterson. Come on.
James Outman, I think the more ridiculous comparison is Bellinger. I mean, James Outman.
Where's Bellinger now?
He's. Let me speak. We've seen the Dodgers do it before. They create these minor leaguers who are all launch or nothing. They come up, they hit a shit ton of home runs, they strike out a shit ton, and then pitchers get the scouting report. They figure him out a little bit, and they end up. I mean, Cody Bellinger, compared to his rookie year, is a disappointment. He's a World Series winner, and he's hit one of the biggest home runs in Dodgers history. Jock Peterson's hit his fair share of huge home runs and is a World Series champion as well, but I don't think either of those guys lived up to their rookie years. And Bellinger won an MVP.
James Outman can run. James Outman can throw. James Outman can field. James Outman right now is hitting. Is that going to sustain?
I as a Dodger fan, I hate to do this.
You're already acknowledging the fact that pitchers are going to figure him out.
And that's what I'm going to say. I am going to sell James Outman. It pains me a little bit, but I think a very telltale sign with these rookies who hit a shit ton of home runs is, do they strike out a lot? Do they miss a lot of pitches? Because that's usually
it's not making contact.
The thing is, I think the scouting report is it's the same case with Rooker. It's the same case I would have for selling him. It's that we don't have the film. We don't have his weaknesses. And these teams are smart. Once they figure out what he can't hit, that's what they're going to throw.
Mm-hmm.
And James Outman, more than Rooker, has pitches he can't hit. I mean, he's 4% in K percentage. He's 1% in whiff percentage. And sure, when he hits the ball, it goes a long way. He strikes out a lot. He's a fine defender. I don't think this is going to continue. Like, I mean, if the season ended today, it'd be him or Carroll as the NL Rookie of the Year. I would guess it goes to Carroll if the season ended, but I honestly think Outman has better stats at the moment. But that's another debate. But I don't think these. I mean, he was not really a heralded prospect. He hit at the end of last year, and the Dodgers didn't want to keep him on the team for Trace Thompson. Like, the Dodgers didn't really believe in him.
Clay's little bro.
Yeah, he's a great story. He's a great player. If I have him in fantasy baseball, I'm trying to capitalize on his value and trade him right now.
Do you have him?
I don't, but I'm just saying I think this is a bit fluky of a start.
I'm gonna sell James Outman. I think that I think that he could be a solid baseball player. I think he can be a solid major leaguer, but I just don't see it with him. I have a very different feel. I'm not even get too analytical with you here, aside from saying that he strikes out a crazy amount and he, does not make a good contact with the ball. I'm going to sell James Outman solely for the fact that I just do not have the same feel with him that I had with Bellinger a few years ago. Bellinger, baseball more than any other sport for me, is a feel sport. You see these guys come up through the minor leagues and they hit the major leagues, and you can really very quickly say, this kid's going to be a star, this kid is not, and I just do not feel it with James Outman for one reason or another. Like you were saying, he is not a highly touted prospect, and that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I think at best he's a very solid number 5 hitter, but I do not see it with James Outman. I think he strikes out too much. I think he makes good contact when he connects, but he doesn't connect enough, and for that reason, I'm going to sell on James Outman. Only because I do not think he's going to keep at the pace that he is at now. That is where I'm at.
We're in agreement. Miracles do happen. Speaking of miracles, Yandy Diaz.
I would not call him a miracle.
He doesn't, well, that's the question. Yandy Diaz does not get out. And he does not crush the ball. He is having, a year so unlike the rest of his career, which makes you think, right? Say an outlier. You're saying sell. I'm buying Yandy Diaz.
Whose fantasy team is he on?
He's on your second place team.
Who drafted him for $1?
Your second place team drafted him, and that was enough to take you to second place.
You lose this week, I win this week, I'm in first place.
You're 2 games behind me. I like to focus on the present, and I'm currently winning. Yandy Diaz, it just crushes the baseball. The entire Tampa Bay Rays team, I don't know who's their hitting coach because he deserves a raise. They're killing the baseball. I think Yandy Diaz is going to continue to kill the baseball. I don't think there's many hitters in their lineup. He's probably the second most confident I am in any hitter in their lineup behind a Rosarena. He just kills the baseball. He takes pitches. He doesn't strike out. When he hits it hard. He's been one of the 5 best hitters in the league this year, and I don't know if he's going to continue a top 5 pace, but I just think I don't think this has been a fluke. I think he's going to get MVP votes. I think he's going to continue to hit the ball hard.
Here's my hot take. You're buying Yandy Diaz, but you're saying he's not up there.
When did I say that?
I am going to tell you that by the end of the season, Yandy Diaz will end the 2023 season as the best third baseman in Major League Baseball.
Wow.
Long term, not going to buy. For the next 2 to 3 seasons, buying.
He's got no
Scroll
arm
down
strength.
on his baseball savant. I don't give a frick about his arm strength. Scroll on his baseball savant page. Tell me his launch angle. How it's changed over the past 3 seasons to this season. You're too far.
His launch angle,
Mm-hmm.
it's up a lot.
Exactly.
9.8%.
What was it at before?
7.7%.
And 9.8 is even still low. I'd like to see him at 12. But that's what makes all the difference. He hits the ball. He hits the ball as hard as anybody else. He hits the ball as consistently as anybody else. The only thing for Yandy Diaz is he was hitting the ball into the dirt for the past 3 seasons. And he still managed to be towards the top of the league in batting average, which admittedly is not the best stat anymore. However, I still value it because it shows a good natural hitter. Yandy Diaz is not only a good natural hitter, but Yandy Diaz is an incredible power hitter. Because power is not just home runs. Power is hitting the ball hard. If advanced analytics have shown us anything over the past 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons since StatCast was introduced, launch angle and exit velocity, when they combine to the perfect combination, is absolutely intangible. You cannot beat a hard hit ball hit at a perfect launch angle. It's going to go for a home run. That's why Aaron Judge is so good. That's why Mike Trout is so good. That's why Bryce Harper is so good. You notice the names I'm saying here. They're top of the league. Look at Yandy Diaz. Premier launch angle, premier exit velocity, premier barrel rate. He has figured it out. He is a top 3 third baseman in Major League Baseball in 2023.
He
is
the best.
not going to slow down. He's going into the season as the best. He's going to be the starting third baseman for the American League in the All-Star game, and he is going to be in the top 5 MVP. That is my take on Yandy Diaz. Buy. There's nobody we can talk about today that I'm going to buy harder than Yandy Diaz.
I don't disagree. I mean, he's hitting the ball hard. I don't see any. He's hitting every category. Looks good. He's crushing the ball. His team is playing well. He's a good defender. Everything is up this year. He's in his prime. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. Long term is another, longevity is another question.
Exactly. You know, if you figured this out 5 years ago,
he's one of the most valuable players in the league this year. I agree. So we've talked about hitters. Let's talk about pitchers, buy or sell. First one that comes to mind, Josiah Gray. I would argue he's having as underrated of a year as a pitcher is having in the league right now. He's got a mid 2 ERA. He's quality start after quality start. The Nationals obviously don't get much attention because they're horrible, but he's been the best pitcher on their team. He's what they need. He's eating innings. He's not allowing lots of runs. He's young. I mean, he was a highly touted prospect. Obviously traded for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. Was the premier prospect in that trade with Gilbert Ruiz. He's 25. I think people thought this is what Josiah Gray could be. I wouldn't say he's pitching like an ace, even though he's the ace of the Nationals, but he's pitching like a very good 2. Are you buying that he is a very good 2 starter in Major League Baseball?
I'm going to buy, at the very least, he's a very solid 3.
A 3?
I said that Josiah Gray, before the season started, you can scroll back to my Instagram. I said that Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore would both be All-Stars this season. Granted, a little bit blown out of proportion.
They're not going to both be All-Stars.
They probably won't both be All-Stars, but the point stands. I believe in Josiah Gray. The Nationals saw something in him. I think he has filthy stuff. I think that his 4-pitch arsenal, it's just your perfect, clean-cut, nice, what you like to see arsenal. He's got a fastball, he's got a slider, he's got a curve, he's got a cutter. I'd like to see a changeup thrown down there. However, I think Josiah Gray, he's got a 4-pitch mix. None of them are, you don't have questions about any of those pitches. He's slicing up batters. The K rate is middle to top of the league. The whiff rate middle to top of the league. Hard hit rate middle to top of the league. Everything says premier number 3 starter. And for the Nationals, that's all you can ask for from Josiah Gray. The Nationals are building for the long term. They have a lot of prospects in the farm. They have a lot of young talent. Honestly, within 4 years, if the Nationals can continue to develop the young talent that they have, both arms and bats, and make 1 or 2 solid free agent splashes, they're right back there in the playoff mix, and I think Josiah Gray is going to be at the center of that.
All right, I'm
going to buy.
You're buying Josiah Gray.
I'm not buying as hard as Yandy Diaz, but I'm going to buy.
You're buying, okay. I don't feel the same way about Josiah Gray. Not only do I not feel the same way about Josiah Gray, I don't think I feel the same way about the Nationals. And I don't want to turn this into a, talking about the stake of that franchise and where they're at. I like some of their prospects. I don't necessarily like they have a good catcher locked up. They have a few good starters locked up. They have Abrams. I do like some of their pieces. I don't necessarily like the depth. I don't like the ownership. I don't know if they're going to spend like you think they're going to spend, considering they sold with a World Series caliber roster. But whatever. Josiah Gray, honestly, everything about, and this is the same when I watched as a Dodgers fan when I saw him coming up the ranks in single A, double A, triple A. Everything about him just screams average to me. It does. And I think he's going to have a long career. I think he's going to make his money. I think he'll retire happily. I don't think he's ever going to make an all-star team. I don't think he's ever going to be considered an ace. I mean,
I'm not saying he's being considered ace, but that doesn't mean that I won't buy.
Yeah, no. I get that. I'm not buying the 2.70 ERA and the 7 inning starts consistently. That's what I'm not buying. I'm buying 3, maybe even a 4. I mean, he doesn't have extreme velocity.
It's pretty hard to get to above a 4.
He doesn't have extreme velocity. He doesn't strike that many people out. He's kind of he almost reminds me.
He's a pitch to contact guy.
But I don't like pitch to contact guy.
I like pitch to contact guys. It's old school. It's proven that it works. Right, look at Sandy Alcantara from last year. He's a pitch to contact guy. He'll still strike some guys out.
Josiah Gray's.
Okay, still.
He doesn't have much movement on his pitches. I see more of a Cal Quantrill type of fluky year.
I like the Cal Quantrill comp.
Yeah, he's a 3 or 4.
I think he's a more talented version of Cal Quantrill.
I think so too. I mean, he's a much higher prospect than he was. Cal Quantrill never had an 8-game sample size really that Josiah Gray's had so far. But I don't.
Was pretty quickly moved to the bullpen.
Yeah, he had a good year last year.
He was a talented prospect too.
He was a talented prospect actually. You're right. But I don't see Josiah Gray. I mean, his ERA is like in the 270s right now, and he's got, he's going 7 innings every start. I don't think that's continuing without K's. I think Mackenzie Gore ends the year as the best Nationals pitcher, and he's a piece to build around.
How many K's does Gray have right now?
All right, let's look it up. I'm gonna guess he's 45 in 52 innings.
I say Gray ends the season with a 3.25 ERA. Pitches, let's even say around 200 innings, assuming he's healthy all year. 170 strikeouts.
And how many innings? You think his K rate?
200 innings.
You think his K rate is like 8? 8 per 9?
Yeah.
I'll go lower. I think lower. I mean.
Okay. Even anywhere between K's don't matter to me that much. If you're delivering and you're effective, I don't care whether you're striking guys out, whether you're getting the ground out, whether you're getting them pop out, whether you're getting them fly out. If an out's an out. It means the same thing to me either way. Strikeouts are great. They're flashy. They're brilliant. They're easy to root for. They're easy to enjoy. But I think Josiah Gray, despite the way that MLB has been trending over the past decade, I think he's an old school type pitcher. He's never going to blow you away. He's never going to knock your socks off. But he's going to be damn consistent. And that's all I could possibly hope for from him, because the way the Nationals rotation is shaping up, all they needed is a number 3. So I'm buying on Josiah Gray.
So Josiah Gray, I'm going through his game log right now. First start of the year, faces the Braves, one of the best teams in the league, gives up 5 runs, 5 innings. You take that out, he has faced 3 teams over 500. Versus Arizona, 3 runs in 5 innings, 7 hits, bunch of base runners. He had a good start versus the Orioles, only went 5 innings, walks more guys than he struck out. And then the Pirates, he had a good start, but I'm honestly I'm not seeing good lineups he's faced so far this year. He's faced the Marlins, he's faced the Giants, he's faced the Pirates, he's faced the Mets who are struggling, he's faced the Rockies. He's allowing a bunch of base runners, he's walking a shit ton of guys. I mean, he's in his last 3 starts, he's 9 walks. Like, I don't think this is a guy. I'm not calling. He's an MLB pitcher. He's a 3 or 4, but I just don't think this is sustainable. A bunch of base runners, not a lot of strikeouts. This screams in this game. This screams sell to me, and we'll see. But every number you listed on his 200 innings, 175 strikeouts, 3.2 ERA, I don't think he gets any of those.
We're going to have to see. But all it takes to be an all-star is a good first half, and he's well on his way. He's halfway to a good first half.
I don't care about who's an all-star. The Nationals need a representative anyway. But the Nationals are just not a fun baseball team to watch. There are fun baseball teams to watch. There are teams I'm looking forward to making runs in October. There are teams I'm looking forward to making runs in September. Division races. There's good teams all throughout the league.
Thank you for clarifying that. There are, in fact, good teams.
There are good baseball teams. There are bad baseball teams. There's average baseball teams.
There are good baseball teams, there are bad baseball teams, and there's everything in between.
Who is winning every single MLB division? I think we should go at the exact same time for each division. 1, 2, 3 division winner.
Okay.
We'll go through it,
Okay.
and then we'll wrap this thing up.
We'll ask our fan questions.
Yeah. All right. AL East. All right. We're going 1, 2, 3
Rays.
teams. Okay. I picked the Rays too.
Yeah. Okay.
AL.
How are we doing this? How we have to?
Well, how we just
this
did.
Method.
AL Central. 1, 2, 3 Twins.
Guardians.
Ooh, our first disagreement. All right. Pitch me on the Guardians.
I'm pitching on the Guardians because I stick to my predictions from the beginning of the year. Baseball is it's a long haul. The
You're
Guardians
biased.
I'm biased.
You stick to your predictions from the beginning of the year.
Of course I do. What
Adapt.
Adapt?
Adapt
No,
or die.
that's bandwagoning.
Adapt or die. That's called watching. That's
The
watching
Guardians.
baseball.
The Guardians are a scrappy team. The Guardians remind me of the Rays. I thought the Guardians were going to be the Rays before the Rays were the Rays. The Guardians have a solid pitching rotation. They consistently churn out guys who are exactly what we're seeing with the Rays this season. You still have Shane Bieber in that rotation. He's quietly, despite 2020, which is a fake year, has become one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. You got Tanner Bibby, who's been very good. You got Emmanuel Clase at the back end of that bullpen. You have Jose Ramirez. You have Andres Jimenez. You have a lot of talent. You have Josh Bell now. You got a lot of talent on that team, and they're playing very quietly. They haven't quite gotten there so far this season. They've had a little bit of a challenging schedule. I think over the long haul, eventually, the Guardians are going to overtake the Twins. My prediction at the beginning of the season, I'm going to stick to this, is that the Twins would get hot at the beginning of the year. They'd lead the division for a long time, then the Guardians would catch up, and that is exactly what I'm sticking to. My prediction is standing true so far. I have absolutely no reason to change it. You can look back at my posts. This is exactly what I said.
Well, the reason to change it would be the Guardians are like 4 games under 500. But
it's not that bad for this time of the year.
I will take
3 games under 500.
I don't like the Twins. We've been over this, Matthew. I'll take the Minnesota Twins to win the AL Central. I think the White Sox had a case at the beginning of the year.
Are you buying both Sonny Gray? Are you buying Sonny Gray, Pablo Lopez, and Joe Ryan?
I think I am buying all 3 of those guys. I don't think Sonny Gray is going to lead the league.
I'm not buying Gray and Lopez. I'm not buying either of them.
I think Pablo Lopez is a solid 3. I think I don't think Sonny Gray.
Halfway through the season.
I don't think Sonny Gray is going to lead the league in ERA. I don't think Joe Ryan's going to keep this up. But
Joe Ryan is going to keep
my larger point is this. I think before the year, we would have said, all right, would you agree with this? We like Minnesota's lineup more than Cleveland's, but we like Cleveland's pitching more than Minnesota's pitching.
I think, in my opinion, was that the Twins and the Guardians were closer in terms of lineup than the Twins and the Guardians were in terms of rotation.
Well, to flip that, I think the exact opposite. I think Minnesota's pitching looks better than Cleveland's lineup, which is honestly very problematic. I mean, Cleveland they go on spells. Their lineup is not that talented, and I don't think it's a division-winning lineup. And I like Minnesota's lineup. I like how they piece together quality front-end starters. I like their bullpen. I think it'll be a close race the whole year. I don't even know if the division winner gets 90 wins, but I'll take Minnesota. It's another disagreement, and right. We'll see.
Okay.
Let's
AL West.
To me, before I say anything, I think this is the most interesting division in the league. Obviously there's a favorite. We'll see where we land.
The hot take, I'm not going to go into detail. I don't even think you can necessarily count the White Sox out.
All right. They have a very bad record. They've looked horrible. They've lost games in embarrassing ways. But I think you could argue they're the most talented team in the division on paper.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
They have the potential for sure. Okay.
All right. AL West.
3, 2,
1. Astros.
In agreement.
I'll take the Astros, but I think Texas. My bold prediction is I think
Texas. Yeah.
I think Texas and Seattle both win 90 games.
I can see Seattle. I don't know about Texas. I know they're off to a much better start.
Their lineup.
I don't know. I'm not buying Texas. I'm not buying Texas yet. I think they're still a year or 2 out. They have talent. They for sure have talent.
They're second in the league in runs scored. In a ballpark that's hard to score.
They need to pitch. They need to pitch when
they do, but Evaldi, who is a sell candidate. I get it, but they're piecing together their rotation. I like Andrew.
It's just with some of these guys, the Heaney's, the Evaldis of your baseball world. I have to sell them because if they were going to be as good as they are, if they're going to be number 2, number 1 status throughout the season, they would have shown it by now. It's not going to sustain. They're going to regress. DeGrom's hurt. They're going to regress to the mean, and I don't think that the pitching is going to hold up. But we don't have to dwell on the AL West right now.
I will say I love their lineup. I
think they have a very nice lineup.
Corey Seager's back today after a long hiatus. I mean, we've seen Simeon hit.
But I don't know. I'm buying. I love Seager. I love Lowe, whatever his name is. I love Simeon. I even like Adolis Garcia.
Yeah.
I don't like anybody past that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're 12 games over right now, 10 games over. I don't see them losing more games than they win the rest of the year. I like their lineup. I think Seattle's talent figures it out. Their rotation, Kirby looks incredible. Kelnick, I think, can keep it up. J-Rod is he's gonna play better than he's playing. I think they both win games. Obviously, the Astros. It's hard to bet against the Astros. Sustainability, talent, it's better than the rest of the division. But all right, so we agree on 2 teams. And then we disagree on the AL Central. So we've named 3 teams so far winning divisions.
Let's move to NL East.
Let's move to the NL.
Okay.
NL East, we don't even have to count the 3 Braves.
I don't know, 3. Yeah, I was gonna say Braves. I think the Mets have the sheer talent. We have already been over the Mets. I think they have the sheer talent to win this division, but they would have had to get off to a hotter start. I think the Mets are still going to be in the playoffs. However, I think the Braves are going to win this division with relative ease.
If the Mets,
especially compared to last year.
The Mets make up 6.5 games and win the division over Atlanta, you can slap me in the face.
I'll gladly do so.
All right.
Okay. Interesting.
NL
Central. Wait,
to me, this is not that interesting.
Think about this. No,
think about it. Think about it.
Okay, I have my answer, but it's a boring one. Okay.
We have the same answer then.
3, 2, 1.
Milwaukee.
Brewers. Yeah.
This division
just by default.
sucks.
It's by default.
Division. How could you possibly hitch your wagon to a team in this division?
I wanted to take St. Louis going into this year, but the pitching just is not there. They have no pitching, and the bats are starting to come together. But they're 17 and 26.
Yeah.
It's tough to come back from. I mean, like you can. The theme of this episode for me is it's a long season, but the Brewers are talented. They're a good team. They're not a great team. They're going to win this division by default just because nobody else is quite there. I did enjoy what I saw the Pirates doing at the beginning of the season. However, it's shown that it's not going to sustain. I think they could get hot again. I think they could finish the season around 500, maybe even slightly above, but they're not going to win the division.
See, I'm taking the Brewers just at a default. Like I don't think
that's what I said.
I don't think the Pirates keep it up. The Cubs are 4 games under 500, and it feels like their pitchers are pitching out of their mind. Stroman has been better than he's been. Justin Steele has been better than he's been. Like I don't think these guys keep it up. Smiley's had an unbelievable few starts.
And even with this great pitching, they're still only in 3rd place.
Exactly, they're 4 games under. I will say, love Christopher Morel. Should have called him up sooner. I believe in him.
I agree with that.
And I'll add to this prediction. The Brewers win the division. From here on out, game 43, 44, whatever it is, 42, to the rest of the year, the Cardinals have the best record in the division, but they don't make up the 7.5 games. I think their start...
It's not going to be good to make a wild card either.
Yeah, it was a bit fluky. All right, let's move to the NL West.
Okay.
This division has been historically boring for the past 10 years. It's a monopoly on division titles by the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll count to 3, but monopolies are hard to overthrow. All right. Let's count to 3.
I don't know.
1, 2, 3,
Dodgers.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here.
I don't know. It's not too late for San Diego, in my opinion. I don't think it's
games,
too late.
8 games back.
Manny Machado's going to pick it up. And Xander is going to pick it back up. Juan Soto has already picked it up. They have so much talent on this team that I just simply can't ignore. Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove. They have an insane bullpen. Josh Hader. I mean, it's just like beginning to end. I know on paper only gets you so far in Major League Baseball, but I can't help but pay attention to the sheer talent that they have.
The San Diego Padres have the best rotation in baseball in 2019. their arms are done. Snell is not the same pitcher. Joe Musgrove, I don't think, is the same consistency level. I don't think Yu Darvish is. The Dodgers are a regular season machine. We can argue whether or not we think they're a team ready for October, whether we think their bats will step up, their bullpen will implode again. But they're the best regular season team in this division. The Padres can't make up 8 games.
I think they
throughout the rest of the year.
Do you realize how many games are left?
There's a lot. The Dodgers.
Games left.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
You're telling me they can't make up 8 games over 120? All
I'm
it takes is
that.
a week of the Dodgers going cold and a week of the Padres going hot, and they're right there.
And they're right there, and then the Dodgers will play better than them. They're just a better team. I mean, I think obviously the Padres beat the Dodgers in the playoffs.
I think the Dodgers are a better team, but that does not mean they'll win the division.
I think
last year the Mets were a better team than the Braves.
How many games is San Diego winning?
93.
The Dodgers are going to win more than 93 games. They do it every year. Well, we agree to disagree. The Dodgers own the Padres in the regular season. I think they're just as talented.
Kershaw was not a good move.
I agree with that. Joe Musgrove agrees with you as well. He didn't think so. Dodgers young bats.
On my fantasy team.
Yeah. I mean, with Dustin May, that's a scary injury. Left today to start with forearm tightness, elbow tightness. But, I mean, Walker Buehler's going to be back. Dodgers are piece. Tony Gonsolin's working his way back up. I think the bullpen is not going to be as bad as it's been. Evan Phillips and NC Almonte will figure it out, and the Dodgers will piece together.
There's just too much talent for me to ignore with the Padres. It's a long season.
All right.
It looks like they're far behind, but they're really not. I gotta say that the Padres are gonna win.
We'll disagree. The Dodgers' results versus the Padres so far this year. We'll disagree.
I just can't take the team that's leading the division right now for every division.
Well, then you should have picked someone else in the AL West or something. But I get it. You want to be.
There's a reason we play all these games.
You want to be different, but we'll see how the division unfolds throughout the course of the year.
Let's move to our fan questions to wrap things up. We have a baseball question. We have a life question. Baseball question. Pull it up.
I have not heard these, by the way.
You definitely saw them.
No, I genuinely did not. I definitely didn't hear the baseball question. So I'm excited.
Before we get to this, real quick, I'm going to mention this, and Noah was very against this idea. I found a Major League Baseball fan fiction complete novel. I thought it was just one page, but no. I got to the bottom of the page, and there are 34 chapters of a very, very comprehensive, steamy Major League Baseball fan fiction novel written by an anonymous person on the internet. And whether I have to force him to do it or not,
I will not be reading it.
You're going to be reading it. You're going to be reading it. You're going to take notes on it. You're going to inevitably enjoy it.
I will do none of the above.
It is baseball and it is romance.
No.
It's going to hit you.
Get to the questions.
In the heartstrings.
To be decided. To be decided. Get to the questions.
We're going to start next week. I'm going to post
to be
link
decided.
on my story, and you can read along with us.
To be decided. Get to the questions.
It's going to be great. Get the questions. Pull it up. And you have the notes. Okay. Our follower question submitted this week. This one's by Joe.cam01. Baseball. I thought it was an interesting question. Would you trade $1 for 4 quarters in baseball? In other words, is a star player worth trading for 4 decent players? I'd like to hear your take.
I'd take 4 quarters. I think I would actually take the dollar in almost every other sport, but I think baseball operates a little differently. It's more of a team game. Players can't carry teams on their back to championships. A great example, I think, of this is the Padres-Nationals trade last year. Baseball is a very hard sport for even the stars to be consistent, and Nolan Arenado is a great example. He goes through lulls and then he hits 5 home runs in 5 games. The dollar isn't as consistent as it is in other sports. In other sports, I'm taking the dollar. I'm taking the superstar. But I want to build depth. I want to build a roster. I'd take the National side of that Soto trade if I do it again. I'm taking 4 quarters.
Soto's played overall, yeah. No, I would agree. I'd say 4 quarters is worth $1 in baseball. Like Noah said, I think this is the one thing that we've been most in agreement on over this recording is baseball's a team sport. You see in the NBA, right, like the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals right now, If they did not have LeBron, they would not be there. You see teams like the Angels. You got Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, two of the best players in our generation.
$5 bills.
$100 bills. And you still have absolutely nothing to show for it. So no, I'm absolutely taking 4 quarters over $1 in Major League Baseball. As upset as I was being a member of the Washington, D.C. community and wanting to see Juan Soto play at Nationals Ballpark every night, I think that it was a good trade for them, at least in theory. And I think 4 decent players, if you can guarantee 4 decent players, is worth so much more than 1 star player in Major League Baseball. I would say I would much rather have 2 wins above replacement players, 2 WAR players, 4 of them, than 1 8 WAR player. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
It's decided. Next
our
question.
Life question to wrap things up. My friend is dating. This is anonymous, by the way. My friend is dating a girl I like. What should I do? I have an answer. I'd like to hear yours first.
No, I'd like to hear yours first.
No, I'd like to hear yours first.
My friend is dating a girl I like. What should I do? Well,
this is, by the way, the most middle school thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, okay. You should probably suck it up. I feel like that's a unpopular answer. If your girl you like is dating your friend, she probably doesn't like you. Sorry. If she doesn't like you, it's not worth losing a friend.
Probably an incel.
Okay. Honestly, I don't really care. But I think if your friend is dating a girl you like, figure it out on your own. Don't come to us.
But this is not the point of this.
I offer you no advice.
That's terrible. You have to offer him some
I
advice.
honestly think that's good advice.
That's not advice at all.
That's good advice. I offer you no advice. Okay, it depends. There's lots of nuance.
This girl's the love of his life, dude.
If she's the love of your life. If
he has to fight for her.
If she's the love of your life, talk to your friend. Say, you're dating the love of my life. What do you think? If your friend is like, oh, this is the love of your life, go for it. Go for it. If your friend is like,
would his
fuck
friend
you.
ever say that? I don't think his friend
If it's
would
the
ever
love
say
of
that.
his life, it depends. They could be 11 and not in a real relationship. I don't know.
Saying you never
I don't know. All right, I do have advice. Get a therapist and ask them.
BetterHelp.com.
Whoever. We don't have sponsors.
Not yet. Okay. Let's see. My advice. Follow your heart, my man. Follow your heart. You've heard the expression, just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score.
That's bad advice.
That's bad advice. I don't like that advice. However,
especially if the goalie's your friend.
That's very true. No. Realistically, let your friend be happy. It's ridiculous. I don't know how old you are. I don't know who you are. We don't have your username written down. However, let your friend be happy. Ridiculous. You're probably I wouldn't say middle school. You're probably in high school.
No, I think middle school.
You think middle school?
If you submitted this question, let us know how old you are.
I'm gonna go back and look.
Okay. I'm guessing under 16.
Ooh, we just hit 18K while we were recording.
That's you. That's all you.
It literally is me. Okay, let's see.
If this kid is under 15, I offer no advice. He'll figure it out in a few years.
I found him.
For them. Whoever.
I literally cannot tell. I think he actually probably is in middle school. So.
That's a middle school bio. It's just a bunch of sports teams with the sport emoji. He's 14. We have no advice. This doesn't matter.
Good advice.
You'll figure it out. I think that's a good note to end on.
In 6 years, this is not going to matter to you at all.
I'm not going to say your name, but
you're going to be in college. You're not going to know. You're not going to give a shit.
You don't even like this girl, man.
You probably don't.
You just want someone to like you. You don't even like this girl. Find someone else. Don't lose a friendship.
No.
It'll work out.
I agree.
It'll work out.
This
is as ridiculous of a question as a statement like the San Diego Padres are going to make up 8 games on the Dodgers.
Get out of here.
The Dodgers are probably going to win the division by 10 plus games.
he likes the Mets and the Nets. I think that's all we need. I think it's
No,
all we need
that's
to
what
say.
that's the common path. It's Mets, Nets, Jets, or
It's each a
Yankees,
Giants.
Knicks, Giants. All right, but that's not that ridiculous.
It's not that ridiculous. However, I do think that his girl's boy probably a Yankees fan.
If you're under the age of 17, forget about it.
First of all,
This
you need to
isn't
change
a
your
problem.
bio. She's not going for you with that bio.
She's not
can't
going.
you can't overtly talk about your sports teams like that. It just gives middle school. So
Maybe
I'm sorry.
he is in middle school.
Maybe he is, and you know what? That's okay. Then it's an appropriate bio to have. However, let your friend be happy.
If you are somehow this kid, he's a kid. If this kid is watching this, DM Matthew's page, and let us know the details of the situation,
Yeah,
and
I'd
maybe
like a
we'll
little bit
answer
more
more last week.
context.
We need nuance. We need context to accurately answer this question. So give us that context, please. I think I've said as much as I can say on this situation.
With the limited knowledge that we have, I think I've also said as much as I can say, and that wraps us up. If you've made it this far, which is probably like maybe 2 people, including
I think
my
it's
dad.
under. I think it's under.
You
I think
it's
1.
under 2?
We're an hour and 42 minutes in.
Yeah, but we took a pee break.
It doesn't even matter.
All right.
If there are more than 2 people watching
Literally,
this,
please, I beg that you DM me that you've made it this far, because I will follow you, I will shout you out, I will do literally anything.
if you've made it this far, if you're listening to this right now, DM Matthew's page and tell him the Padres have 0. Say, quote, the Padres will not win the
you don't
NL
have to
West.
say that. You just can
unquote.
say you made it this far and you enjoyed.
Do
That's
one
all
of
you
the
have to
2.
say.
Do one of the 2. I think we're going to get 0 DMs. Except maybe, I'm not
We'll
going to
see.
say his name, the middle schooler. I almost said his
I don't
name.
even want to shit on him. I feel bad.
No, I'm not shitting on him.
We've all been there.
All right. Can I offer a legitimate? Are we still recording? Can I offer a
yeah.
legitimate piece of advice? Because I think you are in middle school. You think everything matters in middle school?
None of it.
Give it some
Absolutely
time.
Nothing.
You won't care anymore.
No.
You'll figure it out.
I said this 10 minutes ago.
I tune you out for an hour and 42 minutes and the workday itself.
Literally.
You'll figure it out. Stress a little bit less.
12 hours.
It won't matter. You'll be good. I'm not gonna say your name again. Can we give him a fake name?
We can call him
Gavin. Let's call him Gavin. That's our fake name.
Gavin.
You'll figure it out. Good night, Gavin.
Good night. On that note, we're done. If you made it this far, thank you for listening.
This might be the last episode.
If by some chance you found this and watched this whole way through without following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at the worst MLB, posting content 4 to 5 times a week. That's literally where anybody would have come from. I have absolutely no freaking idea where you would have come from otherwise.
Or your dad. He wouldn't have come from there. He would be listening to this.
We're finished.
Not because of your podcast.
Have a great.
Or your Instagram.
Have an incredible weekend. We will maybe be back next week if more than 2 people listen to this.
But probably not.
Probably.
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.